Great. So we've seen what looks like a car.
Yeah.
We've seen what looks like an app. Maybe you can tell us, what is Togg?
First of all, thank you, Apostolos, for the opportunity. Togg is a technology and the mobility ecosystem provider from Turkey, and creating and building a global mobility brand around smart mobility devices, we call.
Okay.
So basically, we operate in three business areas. First of all, our electric vehicles, our smart devices, we call. You may see outside T10X. And the second one is the digital experience platform, which is orchestrating, operating all those digital services in the smart device and around the smart device. As Monoj was explaining before in the SyncTel part, different needs of the applications. And the third area, as Togg, we are operating in clean and green energy solutions to provide a sustainable mobility and the net zero goal to achieve this. So, and the Togg's already launched their smart devices, our smart device in Turkey. We got more than 177,000 pre-order with our digital platform from our end users. So we turn Turkey as an electric vehicle market. And next year we are planning to enter Europe with our smart devices and with our digital experience platform with all digital services we provide. So briefly, Togg is this.
Excellent. I think it's easy for people, around the room to maybe take a cynical view and say, is this just a car, but you're calling it something else? You use the word device, right?
Yeah.
So I think increasingly we hear a lot this week about, consumers expecting real-time, personalized, seamless experiences, especially in a 5G world. Everything is connected. How is Togg playing a part in that? What are you doing differently to achieve that unified, personalized, community-driven, experience?
Exactly. Yeah, first of all, we redefine the mobility. This is our motto, and we redefine the mobility. How? We said not a car, it's more than a car, and we redefine it as a smart device. Once you define the car, redefine the car as a smart device, then all those digital services, all the services are possible, products are possible around the smart device, because you shift the paradigm. In the past or the currently, traditional OEMs just produce a car and actually cannot make a connection between their owners or the users, because it's just a device sold or it's a car and sold it out. But with the new approach, we redefine after car as a smart device, you are able to define your business model as direct to consumer. So once you define this as a direct to consumer, then contradiction to traditional OEMs just sell and forget the customer. You should build and sustain your relationship with your users and owners. This is not just ownership of the car. This is usage of the services. This is everyday life of the mobility. Before the mobility, after the mobility, or during the mobility, you need to care of your users. As Monaj explained before, every application needs different quality of services. Like F1 example he gave. F1 requires a lot of high density data. Similar way, our smart devices, the T10X is the most sophisticated, one of the most sophisticated smart device, maybe 10 times powerful than a smartphone. Producing data, consuming data, side-to-side screen, 1/5 of a TV actually, and a lot of applications at the same time, including the autonomous driving capabilities, all the sensors. It has 8 cameras inside. So as you can see, it needs a special, let's say, approach to keep your relationship satisfied level with your users. That is why our approach is different than traditional OEMs and also different than the traditional telcos, as I just provide the network and data and I forget because I don't know what they want to use or what they need. That is the approach as different.
Very good. In terms of why you're here this week and how it came to the fact that you're using a BSS system, something most of us traditionally associate with telecom, what is Togg leveraging from us, as a BSS vendor and from the industry at large, like, TM Forum, organizations like TM Forum?
Yeah. Several things, of course, many things. It is in the BSS, in the backbone of our digital platform. Because, as I said, the mobility, after you define the car as a smart device, it becomes an intelligent machine and data producing machine, data processing machine. So you should approach differently. Traditional OEMs, they don't know how to tackle this transition, this technological transition, this smartification in the car. And likely, the telcos, they don't know how to tackle this sophisticated smart device, how to manage it in their network. They don't know. They just provide the connectivity. This is a connected car. And how is the services, how is the living space in the car? They don't know. So as Togg, we try to address this gap. We know these industries converging each other. So we need a BSS, let's say, to orchestrate, to provision, and to deliver these services to the end user in our new living space. As we define our car as a smart device and as a new living space, as you do, what you do at home, at work, you read, you listen, you entertain yourself, you watch movies, you take notes, you socialize with social media. This should continue, not at home, at office, but also on the road. So to provide this, you should assure the service all along the road with the connectivity, and you should provision user by user, device by device, location by location. We were talking an example. What is mobility? Navigation is A to B, right? From A to B, how fast I can go. But with our approach, actually, this is not an A to B. This is more than A to B. We focus on the experience. Soon we will provide two things. First of all, what is the route with the best connectivity, which you can enjoy your online meeting during your journey, or you can enjoy your podcast or most popular show during your travel without any interruption. Or what is the best scenic route, your route. So this is the approach, and you just can achieve this with a telco-grade service delivery platform, as I can say, and it is the core BSS functionalities we are doing together with you, with Etiya.
Lots of novel concepts, thinking of a car as living space, thinking of a journey as an opportunity to do other things. It still sounds a little bit futuristic. There's a very famous video of the CEO of Ford talking about the fact that it's very difficult to compete in the automotive industry in terms of moving to a SaaS model and creating an ecosystem, because there are so many different software components which don't talk to each other and work on their own standards. How is Togg approaching that? What do you think is the opportunity there for Togg?
Yeah, thank you for this question. I think it is in the core of this transition of the automotive. If you approach it a traditional way, try to program every ECU, electronic control unit in the car, independently, it is like a old time of the telcos, like this. In the past, you remember, we were very afraid to call other operators because they charge you a lot, yeah? Okay, I cannot call from Vodafone to Orange because the charging was too much, billing. What happened? It converged. It is unified. I don't care which network hopes my call taking through to you. I don't care this one. The same happening in the software side of the automotive as well. It should be unified. It should be, one central computer managing or controlling the car, so the software can play as a key role. So now today we can over the update our smart device. And every day you can feel this is a new device. We create an open platform, first time in the world actually. In the Togg you will see. It's an open platform. Why open? Because without the ecosystem, you cannot achieve this change so quickly. On your own, you just struggle, okay, I try to change things. However, if you are together with the ecosystem, as we talk, approach startups, as I said, in the traditional OEM, all those things, the network, telco, the digital service provisioning, BSS, are not available in the automotive. So that's why we move to telco and the startups world. So we create this ecosystem and make our platform open as a living space. So for the first time in the world, anybody can develop any digital application for a smart mobility device, like your smartphones. If you have any idea, you just develop it and put it there. We will test it. And this will lead a standard world, by the way, I would like to say. If you try to do yourselves, it will be difficult, as the CEO said, they're struggling. But if you make it open and open everybody, they will naturally develop a standard. That is why we are here, by the way, as Togg, as an electric vehicle producer, as a mobility service provider, because there is no standard for OEMs, for the mobility, for digital BSS kind of things or digital service provisioning. There is no standards. We should develop those standards. Like the ODA, Open Digital Architecture for the telcos, there should be a, we call it MODA, Mobility Open Digital Architecture actually. And we are one of the pioneers of it, because these smart devices will be everywhere in the street very soon. And autonomously they will, by the way, drive themselves. There should be some standards for this.
Maybe that's a call to action for the TM Forum to create, a model.
Yeah, exactly. We call this. We call for this. There are rules and regulations for how you drive and how you cannot drive in the mobility.
Right.
Yeah. But there is no regulation how you use all these digital services in a side-to-side screen living space in the car. All those digital services, how you consume, how you use them, there is no standards. Or how you deliver them.
Maybe being on a video call on Teams while driving to work is not a good idea. So perhaps they need some regulation around that.
Exactly. However, if you standardize or if you put some innovative approach to them.
But doesn't some of that exist already? Because you certainly, if you think about Apple that my wife used in the car, then it doesn't let you make a video call while you're driving if it's plugged in. So part of it's regulation, part of it's common sense, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it is. But we're talking about something which is much broader.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
I think I would encourage people to go and visit the car just outside and look at the app that Togg are creating. But essentially, it's looking at taking over, the relationship with a customer from the minute they apply for purchasing a car in the first place. So this is looking at things like getting approval for a loan, to placing the order, looking at financing options, ensuring, the car itself, specific journeys that you make with the car, and then building on all the content and the value-added services that Ahmet is describing around mobility as well. So theoretically, in the future, we're talking about a very rich set of services that will be available from the vehicle, from the device, as they call it.
Are you about that?
Yes.
I knew you'd be punctual, Apostolos. Thank you very much. Ahmet, the immediate question that comes to mind is, you've touched upon where you are now. As a blind man, I desperately want to know when autonomous driving will really be available, because it's the question I get asked most often by people in the vision impairment community. But what about this mobility automotive in the next 3 years? Because Apostolos mentioned Ford as a massive global player in this. You're also developing something in the face of people like Google and Apple who are trying to, if you like, own that cockpit within the car and own the entertainment bit within the car. and then you've got people like AT&T who want to sell more connections to sell their services. So it's quite a complicated industry into which you're bringing this new innovative approach. But what do you see as being the most important few things over the next 3 years for that?
Yeah. Actually, the most important or the most innovative things will be from our side, the digital automated transactions in those mobility devices. When it becomes autonomous, so you don't need to worry where to charge or where to park. The device itself will program it for you on the navigation and automatically pay the auto park or the charging sessions, the battery charging sessions for you, and it will be, we believe, with an ecosystem approach. And as Singtel said, that API integrations are difficult actually. So we believe it will be not by APIs, it will be by blockchain and the smart contracts. So you don't need to integrate any API, just provide a wallet address, and we know those wallets can talk each other, and you just transfer the digital assets between machine to machine, between device to device. So this will be the, we believe, enabling the free mobility of the devices in coming features.
Yes, and one thing which I always think about when we talk about autonomous vehicles, I can't help taking it into the world of Harry Potter and thinking that the vehicles will shapeshift depending on which function they're serving. So Apostolos will be able to lie down and do his Teams call in the car.
Do that anyway.
Around.
Yeah, okay, exactly.
And what about, I guess the other obvious question is, we're here at the TM Forum DTW, and we're talking about the strategies of the telecoms providers. How are you, on what level are you engaging with those communication service providers, and how receptive are they to what you're trying to do? Because the fact you call it a device, then they think of it, they're just going to connect it with a SIM or an eSIM, and it's another device. So what experience are you having? That's the first question. And then what are your main requests, given you've got an audience here from the industry? So first of all, how are you interacting with them? How are you finding them receptive to your ideas? And then secondly, what is the one or two things that you really want to get out of this event and out of the industry?
Yeah. For the first question, I think mobile operators and mobility providers should come together to create a mobility operator concept to handle these sophisticated, advanced smart devices. So far, we see the approach is just provide a SIM card and provide the connectivity and doesn't care what happened in the car. But our request is, let's sit together, because this is the ultimate machine consuming data. Every day, terabytes of data can create it by car sensors. So I think this is the new gold mine for telcos, I think. So we should sit together and we should ensure how to deliver best experience to the end user. By the way, for your saying, we have as I said, we have an open world. One of our startups, she is also
visually impaired.
Yes.
Yeah, you can say blind, it's fine. I don't
And
mind.
she developed an AI application with our cameras. We have 9 cameras in the car, 2 of them inside, describing the road you are going for the passenger.
Excellent.
Yeah, in a very, very, let's say, detailed way. Okay, now there are trees, the road is nice, the weather is breezy, sun is shining, kind of description. So this is the first time happening. If you open your technology and if you call for the ecosystem, then I think all new services available, which we cannot imagine before.
Limitless.
Yeah.